Hello and a very good morning. You're watching the Breakfast News on Rajya Sabha television with me, Frank Pereira. Let's begin with this morning's headlines. Ahead of the DGMO meet, Pakistan raises Kashmir issue once again. Pak NSA says his government sees India's policy as anti-Pakistan. NDA allies to meet over seat sharing as Election Commission is expected to announce poll dates for Bihar. Ministry of External Affairs verifying reports that 20 Indians are among those killed in Saudi-led airstrikes in Yemen. And Sania Hingis pair enters the semi-final of the women's doubles at the US Open. Serena defeats sister Venus Williams to book a place in the women's singles semis. Our top focus on the bulletin this morning is the IndoPak DGMO level talks in Delhi. These 5-day talks are being held amid continued tensions on the border, but already a question mark is hanging over the Kashmir issue to be included in the talks. The Modi government is in fact deciding what to do and is looking at how to handle the situation after the failure of the NSA level talks.
Hours before the 5-day Indo-Pak DGMO talks, Pakistan's National Security Advisor Sartaj Aziz raised the Kashmir issue once again. Aziz claimed his government saw India's policy as anti-Pakistan.
ये मीटिंग काफ़ी अहमियत है क्योंकि ये मसला जो था कि बॉर्डर पे सीज़ फायर एग्रीमेंट जो हमारा 2003 का था उस पे अमल हो और इस वक्त जो वायलेशंस हो रही हैं वो ना हो, ये हमारी NSA मीटिंग का एक बहुत अहम आइटम था ऊफा डिक्लेरेशन के मुताबिक। लेकिन चूँकि वो मीटिंग नहीं हुई तो ये मीटिंग बहुत ज़रूरी है और इस पे हम यही कोशिश करेंगे कि जो गाइडलाइंस पहले तैयार हुई थी उनमें मज़ीद इजाफा किया जाए।
Meanwhile, Home Minister Rajnath Singh responded to similar comments made by Pakistani General Rahil Sharif on Monday.
अंतर्राष्ट्रीय जगत में भी भारत की प्रतिष्ठा बढ़ी है। यह सब सारा ट्रेंड जो दिखाई दे रहा है, एंटी नेशनल फोर्सेस को यह ट्रेंड रास नहीं आता है तो भारत के संवेदनशील स्थानों को क्षति पहुंचाने में वह बाज नहीं आएंगे।
धमकी से रिश्ता सुधारना मुश्किल है, प्यार से बात करने से रिश्ता सुधरता है। इसलिए हम लोग इस तरह जो बातें करते हैं उसको जवाब देना मुनासिब नहीं समझता हूँ।
Political parties back home say that tensions need to be reduced in the border for talks to work.
एक तो इनको अपनी बंदूकें बंद करनी चाहिए दोनों तरफ से और ये धमकी देने का सिलसिला जो है ये बंद करना चाहिए, तब जाके माहौल में थोड़ी सी बेहतरी आएगी और हम बातचीत की तरफ चलना शुरू कर पाएंगे।
You went and hugged and kissed Nawaz Sharif in Ufa, and when the Pakistanis checkmated you that by obtaining equivalence on the question of terror and talks, they backed out of Ufa. Now you are saying the only unfinished business is POK. Do you have a policy towards Pakistan?
With the NSA level talks turning out to be a non-starter last month, hopes over the fate of the peace process rest on the talks between Pakistani Rangers and the BSF. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, joining me for a chat this morning to talk about this is senior journalist Javed Naqvi. Good morning and thank you so much for joining me on the program. You know, as far as the DGMO's meeting is concerned, what's really going to be on the agenda between India and Pakistan?
You're talking about the BSF and the Rangers. Well, I think if you see what has been discussed so far, very little. At the highest levels, people are threatening to breach each other's borders. The Pakistanis are saying, we can fix you in Kashmir. Our guys are saying we can go and get a certain Don in some kind of a Osama bin Laden kind of operation. So where is the border here? This is this is what the United Nations and the world was very concerned about when they went for a ceasefire, which we have been celebrating, you know, the 1965 ceasefire, which worked to our advantage and in which we had taken positions that were really very humbling and humiliating for Pakistan. And that ceasefire is, it was again reworked in 2003 between when unilaterally almost when Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee declared it, and I think it was Ramzan or some occasion like that when he went ahead with that. So I think there is wisdom on both sides, and there is a cavalier attitude also on both sides. Borders are very sacred. They need not be barbed. You have the European example, but can you imagine a Hungary-like situation where they say, stop here. We won't let you go into Austria or Germany unless we have clearance from there. So that is how borders are managed. They can be breached, but they can be managed. So, but here we have a very different situation where you have what can a border do with missiles, and particularly with nuclear missiles.
So will these talks then lead to a dialing down of rhetoric, cross-border firing, and all the other things that you spoke about?
I think this will not die down immediately. I think both sides are working themselves into a froth for the United Nations General Assembly, where they want to take the case, both sides, about ceasefire violations. India has, stacked up a figure. Pakistan is going to accuse India, and there are going to be other violations. And of course, Pakistan has a view that Kashmir, though mentioned in Lahore Declaration, it was mentioned in Shimla Declaration, it was mentioned in all the declarations, but the moment they say Kashmir, India gets, they want to say terrorism first. Now, is that going to be a tenable thing? Can you force an agenda, or can you agree on an agenda? I think that is going to be decided in New York rather than in Delhi between the BSF Rangers, BSF leaders and the Rangers chief.
The Prime Minister has said that dialogue is the best way forward, and dialogues can, can sort out any kind of differences. But then there are some others who believe that India should not indulge in any kind of a dialogue with Pakistan until and unless the firing and the cross-border infiltration really stops.
Very ironically, this kind of rhetoric has not come from the ruling party as much as it has come from the Congress. Very unfortunate, because Congress did lead a 10-year government in 2 installments. Manmohan Singh was there, and in spite of the provocations, very, very grave provocations from Mumbai in the terror attacks there, the slaughter, there were calls, let's go and carpet bomb, and particularly our kind of media these days, it's we imitating the Pakistani media somehow. Let's go and carpet bomb. So Manmohan Singh, to his credit, said, we will deal with it differently and in my way, and he dealt with it. And we were coming round to another, phase of solutions. But within the Congress, there is a resistance. They want to be more militant and more radical than even some of the BJP people. I think that is where the trouble is. You have these naysayers and these Cassandras on both sides. I'm very happy that the RSS, at its recent conclave with the BJP, came up with a very old and novel idea, which has not been brought into fruition, that we are civilizationally one piece. We are brothers. Now, this kind of thing we used to hear when Lohia was around or Nehru was around. So I'm very happy that this has come from the RSS, and let's see what happens out of this.
Indeed, we'll have to wait and see what really happens. The DGMO talks, of course, start from today and go on for 5 days. Thank you so much, Javed Naqvi, for joining us on the program and putting things into perspective for us. Moving on now, an upgraded Mirage 2000 fighter aircraft will be the latest feature of the Indian Air Force. Installed with India-made multi-function displays, it will be part of a program to enhance the operational life of multi-role fighters by around 20 years. Here's more.
booster dose is in the offing for the severely depleted Indian Air Force. Its Mirage 2000 fighter aircraft will get an upgrade with India-made multifunctions made under Indo-French partnership. All this is part of a program to increase the operational life of the multi-role fighters by around 20 years. Samtel Tail Avionics Limited, a joint venture between Samtel Avionics and French firm Tails, has dispatched the first batch.
For a very state-of-the-art aircraft, this is a deep penetration aircraft, so it is a requirement of the Air Force that aircraft like this has an enhanced life, which it will get, and add immensely to the capabilities of the Indian Air Force.
Under the program, the entire fleet of Mirage 2000H to the Mirage 2005 Mk2 variant will be fitted with state-of-the-art avionics and the latest weaponry. The upgrade includes night vision goggle-compatible glass cockpits, advanced navigational systems, advanced identification friend or foe systems, advanced multi-mode multi-layered radar, fully integrated electronic warfare suite, and a new firing system for air-to-air Mika missiles. Experts believe it will go a long way in addressing the IAF's severe aircraft deficit.
In many ways, you have an aircraft which, as you rightly said, will go up to 20 years, and that meets India's requirement. Samtel and Thales joint venture is a classical example for today's young entrepreneurs who desire to be part of the Make in India campaign. But these small medium enterprises like Samtel are a classic way forward for today's young entrepreneurs.
French defense majors Dassault Aviation and Tails had already handed over 2 upgraded aircraft to India in March. The rest, a fleet of 46 aircraft, will be upgraded in Bangalore under the supervision of the state-run HAL.
The multifunction displays by Samtel will be a part of increasing the life of the Mirage 2000 fighter jet by up to 20 years. Considering the critical shortage that the Indian Air Force faces right now of the fighter jets, experts believe that this upgrade will be a welcome relief to the Indian Air Force. With camera person Narayan Thakur in New Delhi, this is Palak Sharma for Rajya Sabha TV.
Moving on now, the Union Cabinet will meet at 10:30 a.m. in South Block today to discuss key issues. The Cabinet is likely to consider a proposal to increase DNS allowance to 119% from 113%, which if cleared will potentially benefit over 48 lakh government employees and 55 lakh pensioners. The government in April this year had hiked DA by 6% to 113% of their basic pay with effect from January. The proposed hike is in accordance with the accepted formula based on the recommendations of the 6th Pay Commission. The government leaders will also discuss issues relating to the reconstruction of Law Commission and FTI policy on ATM operations. Well, moving on to Bihar now, the Election Commission is likely to announce the poll dates for the state today. The announcement was expected on Tuesday, but that was deferred. Also, today, NDA allies will hold seat-sharing talks. The allies met last week, but there was no word on seat-sharing. There are reports that some of the constituents of the NDA alliance are demanding a larger seat share. Meanwhile, after its decision to go solo, the Samajwadi Party has sharpened its attack on the Janta Parivar. Mulayam Singh Yadav has attacked Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar, questioning his secular credentials. Well, joining me on the phone line right now is our correspondent Arfa Khanum from Patna right now. Arfa, good morning. Thank you for joining us on the program right now. You know, as far as the Bihar polls are concerned, the Election Commission is to come out with the dates for the polling today. But, you know, on the ground in Bihar, we've seen a high voltage campaign from both the alliances. Give us a sense of what's really happening on the ground there in Bihar.
Good morning, Frank. You were right that the election dates were actually supposed to be announced yesterday, and it appeared that all the political parties were gearing up for the same. But now it is expected to be declared today, or in fact even tomorrow. It's going to be a very tricky job for the Election Commission for the simple reason that there are at least 3 to 5 big festivals which are which are falling in the month of October and November, including big festivals like Dussehra, Diwali, and even Chhath Puja, which is celebrated in a big way in Bihar. So election may begin in mid-October and will stretch till, say, November. In 2010, we saw that it was held in total 6 phases and continued for 30 days. It's going to be almost the same this time around in 2015. And it's also important to note that how Election Commission is planning that, the time of announcement of poll schedule and notification of polls will be shortened. So it's going to be a tough call for the political parties to decide on the names of the candidates they want to field in the upcoming assembly elections. I visited at least 3 to 4 major political parties and their leaders yesterday, and I saw their houses and their residences and offices were full of people who were aspiring to contest elections for the upcoming assembly elections. As for the election campaign, I would say this is very important election, not just for Bihar, but actually for the entire country. How the election campaigning in Bihar is shaping up, you can actually imagine the size of the hoardings in any of the assembly elections in the country. You can very well see the politics of economic packages, which has become very interesting. Prime Minister Modi announces one big package, and then Nitish Kumar has another counter package to actually make his point. So it will also have a significant bearing on the national politics, and this is why you saw how OROP was announced just right before the assembly election dates were announced. And though we know there are not many ex-servicemen who come from Bihar, but it becomes a big talking point for the spokesperson of the BJP. So stakes are really, really high for the BJP and rival Janata Dal, and this could very well be seen in the hoardings in and around the country.
All right, Arfa, we'll have to leave it at that. Thank you so much for joining us on the phone line there from Patna this morning and putting things into perspective for us. Now, ahead of the Election Commission announcing the poll dates in Bihar, the BJP ally Hindustani Awam Morcha Secular has stirred up trouble for the NDA. Its party chief Jitan Ram Manjhi has questioned BJP's other ally LJP chief Ram Vilas Paswan's status as a Dalit leader. However, the BJP ruled out any difference within the alliance.
After the Samajwadi split from the Janata Parivar, the other big alliance NDA seems to be in trouble in Bihar just ahead of the assembly polls. 2 key BJP allies are now locked in a debate on who truly represents the community, a significant vote bank for any party in the polls. Jitan Ram Manjhi asserted himself as the true leader of the community, questioning LJP chief Ram Vilas Paswan's status.
आपको ऑनर के साथ हम कहना चाहते हैं, आप अंतर्राष्ट्रीय नेता बन जाइए, लेकिन जो कार्य पद्धति आपकी है कि बेटा और भाई से अलग नहीं हो रहे हैं, अपने पार्टी का जो स्वरूप है उसको जरा भाई और भतीजा और बेटा के परिधि से अलग कीजिए, हम आपको इसके लिए प्रशंसा करेंगे.
While LJP termed Manjhi's remark as unexpected, BJP said there is no fissure in the alliance.
उनके आने से हमारे गठबंधन को बहुत मजबूती मिली है. मुझे नहीं पता कि उन्होंने किस परिप्रेक्ष्य में उन्होंने ये सारी बातें कही. मैं समझ नहीं पाया कि क्या वजह रही कि उन्होंने सारी बातें. मांझी जी के साथ हमारे व्यक्तिगत संबंध बहुत अच्छे हैं, हमारे राजनीतिक संबंध बहुत अच्छे हैं.
कोई मांझी जी और पासवान जी के बीच में लड़ाई नहीं है. अपनी अपनी सीट पर सबका दावा होता है. कुछ सीटों पर बीजेपी का दावा है, उसी सीट पर मांझी जी का भी दावा है, उसी सीट पे पासवान जी का दावा है, उसी सीट पे रालोसपा का दावा है. लेकिन हम जब मिलकर बैठेंगे तो सबको हल कर लेंगे.
The NDA allies are locked in a tussle over seat sharing for the upcoming Bihar assembly elections. While the BJP has demanded a lion's share, allies have also demanded more seats. There is also no consensus on any chief ministerial candidate either, with a number of names vying for the post. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, it's time for a short break now, but still to come. Flood waters recede in 3 districts in Assam, bringing some relief to the people there. That and much more on the other side. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
We have with us a very special guest, Mr. Shyam Saran. Every crisis is also supposed to be an opportunity. And I think that there are opportunities for India in the way, the global economy is getting transformed. Making certain not very radical changes, like the GST, the payoff for you is pretty large.
Watch Chairman of Research and Information System for Developing Countries, Shyam Saran, articulate on nation's economic roadmap in State of the Economy on Rajya Sabha television.
Welcome back. You're watching Rajya Sabha television. Well, there's some relief in Assam from the floods as water is receding from 3 out of the 20 flood-hit districts. However, a major part of the state continues to be affected by the rising waters. Nearly 13 lakh people continue to be affected in 17 districts of the state. The overflowing waters have receded in Jorhat, Nalbari and Shivasagar districts, even as the Brahmaputra in Jorhat, Golpara and Dhubri districts is flowing above the danger level. At least 1,276 villages and 92.8 lakh hectares of farmland were still underwater. The current deluge has claimed 42 lives so far, taking the total toll in this year's 2 waves of floods to 47 in Assam. Meanwhile, the governor of Assam has urged Union Minister Sarbananda Sonowal to not politicize the floods.
I would request the central government as well as my own government here to work out a plan, minimum damage हो, या ये floods कैसे रोक सकते हैं, floods से बाहर कैसे आ सकते हैं. Prevention is far better than the cure. Flood आने के बाद ऐसे हो गया, कुछ natural हो जाता जैसा earthquake you can't predict. मगर floods का तो continuous, every time we are facing the floods.
Here's a look now at what's expected to make news today in our segment, The Day Ahead. Sonia Gandhi will be on a 2-day visit to Rai Bareilly today. During her visit, Sonia Gandhi will unveil a statue of former Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi and attend a meeting of the Vigilance and Monitoring Committee. She will also meet Congress party workers. President Pranab Mukherjee will present the Gandhi Peace Prize 2014 to the Indian Space Research Organisation at a function at the Rashtrapati Bhavan today. The prize was instituted by the Government of India in 1995 on the occasion of the 125th birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi. This annual award is given to individuals and institutions for their contributions towards social, economic and political transformation through non-violence and other Gandhian methods. The Delhi government will launch its student loan scheme, Higher Education and Skill Education Guarantee today. The scheme was introduced to help students who wish to pursue higher education. A loan of up to 10 lakh rupees will be given by the bank with the government as a guarantor. Trinamool Congress will conduct a mock parliament in New Delhi today, where various important issues which could not be discussed in the monsoon session of parliament are expected to figure. The mock parliament will be attended by the party's MPs. The decision to conduct the mock session came when party supremo Mamata Banerjee was in Delhi to meet the Prime Minister last month. Moving on now, at least 20 Indian nationals are reported to have been killed in Saudi-led airstrikes in Yemen. News reports suggest that the airstrikes targeted fuel smugglers at Al-Khoka, a small port near Hodeidah, which is controlled by Houthi rebels. It, however, struck 2 boats carrying fishermen, mostly Indians. Government officials are yet to confirm the incident. MEA spokesperson Vikas Swarup said that the facts about the reports are being ascertained. Remember, the Indian embassy in Yemen was shut down in April following the evacuation of majority of its nationals in the wake of increasing violence in the country. The Saudi-led alliance, made up mainly of Gulf Arab countries, has increased airstrikes on Yemen's capital Sana'a and other parts of the country since Friday, when a Houthi missile attack killed at least 60 Saudi, Bahraini and UAE soldiers at a military camp east of Sana'a. They were part of a force preparing to assault the capital, which the Iranian allied Houthis seized last September. The repeated airstrikes have killed 12 civilians and injured at least 24 people since Monday. Some more international news now. Britain's Queen Elizabeth II has reached a major milestone by becoming the longest reigning monarch in the country's history. She has set a new record by passing Queen Victoria, her great-great-grandmother, who was on the throne for 63 years and 7 months. Queen Elizabeth's reign has included 12 prime ministers, 2 more than served under Victoria. Elizabeth came to the throne at age 25 in 1952 upon the death of her father, King George VI, while Buckingham Palace has released an official photograph to mark the event. There will be no official celebration to mark the occasion. Now, the 89-year-old Queen will spend the day on official duties in Scotland. Moving on to some sports news now. At an action-packed Day 9 of the US Open, defending champions Marin Cilic and Serena Williams cemented their title claim after beating fellow opponents in the quarterfinals. Meanwhile, the Indo-Swiss pair of Sania Mirza and Martina Hingis also advanced to the US Open semi-finals. Here's all the details of Day 9 at Flushing Meadows.
The world #1 team of Sania Mirza and Martina Hingis entered the semi-finals of the US Open after a hard-fought win. The duo overcame a slow start against #9 seeds Chan Yung-jan and Chan Hao-ching, down 0-5 in the opening set. However, the pair finally found their rhythm and battled back to level the opening set 5 each. The reigning Wimbledon champions captured 13 of the next 15 games to earn a 7-6, 6-1 win.
I mean, they came out really aggressive and, we weren't really hitting the spots. We lost the second game, I thought was, crucial. If it was 1-1, it's a completely different game. They played a couple of great games.
We had matches like that against them, that we were down and fought back and were able to win. And that's why we even tried to get on board in the first set and then just kept clicking.
Up next for Hingis and Mirza are the all-Italian #11 seeds Sara Errani and Flavia Pennetta. In the men's draw, defending champion Marin Cilic withstood a rousing Joe Wilfried Tsonga fight back to win a 5th set decider and reach the semi-finals. Cilic looked to be on course for a straightforward victory after taking the first 2 sets, but Frenchman Tsonga was rejuvenated after receiving treatment to his knee and leveled up against the 9th seed. Cilic then recovered to win 6-4, 6-4, 3-6, 6-7, 6-4 in 3 hours and 58 minutes.
Marin Cilic makes it 12 in a row in New York.
From my game plan and, the atmosphere today was electric, and thanks for everybody for staying.
Italy's Roberta Vinci reached her first Grand Slam semi-final by beating France's Kristina Mladenovic. World number 43 Vinci triumphed against her fellow unseeded opponent 6-3, 5-7, 6-4 in sweltering conditions. She will next face defending champion Serena Williams, who defeated sister Venus 6-2, 1-6, 6-3 in the quarterfinals. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Let's take a look now at some more overnight sports news in our sports beat. Indian national football team lost 3-0 in its FIFA World Cup 2018 qualifier match against Iran. Sardar Azmoun gave the breakthrough for Iran in the 28th minute, which was followed by 2 early goals in the second half to seal the game for Iran. This was India's 3rd consecutive loss in Group D of the World Cup qualifiers. India will face China in their 3rd Pool A match of the 7th Women's Junior Asia Cup hockey tournament today. India hammered the Koreans 13-0 and followed it up by scoring a dozen against Singapore. However, they face a strong Chinese team that also warmed up well with a 11-0 victory against North Korea. The 2 teams last met at the Volvo Invitational Under-21 tournament in the Netherlands in July, where India lost to China 2-4. Australian wicketkeeper Brad Haddin has announced his retirement from international cricket. Haddin also became the 5th member of Australia's vanquished 2015 Ashes tourists to end his career in the wake of the series defeat. Haddin missed the 2nd Ashes test at Lord's due to family reasons, but was unable to win back his spot in the side for the 3rd test. That's it on this edition of The Breakfast News. Have a nice day.